Howdy howdy, this is Crafty Grinding back again with an arena cutoff video for Marvel Contest of Champions. Today I'm going to do first round predictions for the new Luke Cage and Medusa arenas. So the first thing I always like to do with these is kind of categorize them compared to past arenas, as that allows me to do some trend analysis when I find those comparison arenas. And when it comes to the feature arenas, whether 4-star, 5-star, or 3-star, really there's two groups of results right now, kind of similar to what we had before the 5-star arena, and that's old champs and new champs. Based off of if they're old or new, kind of determines what the cutoff ranges are right now, and that seems very consistent even after the addition of the 5-star arena. Then we come to the 4-star feature arena, and since the 5-star feature arena has been introduced, we've never really had a high interest champ, and I think Medusa is really going to push to see, is there anything as such as a high interest champ like we saw before the 5-star feature arena was introduced. And what I mean by that is high interest is anything higher than 4 million. Dormammu, Hood, Iceman, Stark Spider-Man, all these different champs, they all range. Archangel, they are all up above 4 million, and I categorize those as high interest 4-star basic champs. We haven't had anybody like that. We've had some decent champs, Dr. Octopus, Hela. None of them really pushed anywhere close. Hela got kind of close at 3.5, and you'll see that here shortly when I show some past mid-interest champs results, but we've never seen anything close to that. So given that, I'm still going to label her, Medusa, as mid, but like I said, this might be the first time we push over mid and to have our first high results. And if not this time, I'm sure Blade here in the next month or so will be doing that for sure. But anyway, now that I've kind of labeled these arenas or categorized these arenas, let's take a look at some past similar results. So first, again, I was just talking about the mid-interest. And the mid-interest right now, there's been basically only two mid-interest, when I'm labeling mid-interest, that have been above 3 million, and you're looking at those two arenas right now, Thor Ragnarok and Hela. And what's interesting about these arenas, they were introduced a little bit earlier than they were supposed to, and kind of tied into that whole when Thor Ragnarok came out on home video, home digital video, whatever. They brought back Thor Ragnarok and Hela early into the basic arena, and when I mean earlier, they were available again in the arena through the 4-star basic arena before they were available in like the everyday crystals. So because of that, a lot of folks didn't have them yet. I think that's what really pushed these numbers up high. Then we had somebody like Dr. Octopus, that while he was already available in the everyday crystals, some more people had him. He's still a decent champ, and arguably maybe better than both of these champs. Hela, Dr. Octopus, good argument. But Dr. Octopus's numbers dropped down to like just above 2.4, 2 million, all that kind of stuff. So I think because of Medusa, even though she's been available in the arenas for some, or in the crystals, for some time, similar to Dr. Octopus, I think we're going to see her numbers really push this. Not only because she was a great champ to begin with, but ever since the Alliance Quest change, where you now have Sentinels, and her armor break with her special one really makes her more valuable now against those Sentinels. And I know a lot of folks are going after her, and dupe, she's even better. So I think there's just, the storm is right to really drive these numbers to this 3.5 range, or maybe even higher. So with all that being said, it gets a lot easier with Luke Cage. He's an old champ. There's not a lot of drama, even after the addition of the 5-star feature arena for old champs. You can see here when it comes to the 4-star feature results, whether you're looking at the first round of Jane Foster, Storm, and Gambit, they're all kind of between 5.1 to 5.6 million. And then even with the second round with Storm, it went up to 6 million. So we're talking anywhere from 5 to 6 million. There's not a lot of variation here. So we shouldn't expect anything different, right? With Luke Cage, even though he's had that buff, Storm's pretty decent champ still. So Storm, you know, in that range was still between 5 to 6 million. I think we can expect Luke Cage around there too. 5-star feature arena, not a lot of drama here as well. All the way back to Jane Foster, all the way up to most recently with Gambit, these old champs, anywhere from 20 million to 23 million. Not a lot of big fluctuation between these champs, although you can see that slight increase over time between the first round Jane Foster to the first round Gambit. There's been a couple million increase, so you know we can probably expect that slight increase now between that Gambit arena and now Luke Cage, especially since Luke Cage has been buffed a little bit. So, and then when it comes to the 3-star arenas, I don't even need to show those past results because they are very consistent. They're basically right past that last milestone reward around 640,000, and then that's where we have historically, since the 5-star feature arena has been added, that's where we've seen those results come in as. So with all of this data, obviously I love looking at the trend data. That's kind of where I base a lot of my prediction for these arenas. But I also like for the first round to get some input from you, the community, on some of the more interesting cutoffs. And when it comes to this one, it's all about Medusa. I think, like I was showing you with old champs for the feature arenas, there's not a lot of surprise or drama on how these numbers are going, even after the 5-star feature arena. But now with Medusa, maybe our first high interest champ since the 5-star feature arena has been added, had to ask you, the audience, what do you think? And I think a lot of you actually, were as interested as I was, because this is probably one of the largest numbers of votes that I've seen for an arena. So a lot of people had a lot of different opinion, and there wasn't a lot of agreement. You can see the results here from 3 to 3.5 all the way down to 4.5. There was just, it wasn't an even distribution, but there wasn't a strong majority one way or the other. The strongest being almost 40% at 3.5 to 4 million, but right behind it at 26%, we have 4 to 4.5 million. And there was a lot of great response in the comment section of the poll, so thank you very much for everybody who took the time to vote, and especially those who also went in and provided some context behind your vote. And here are some interesting points, and I'm going to go with one around the 3.5 to 4 million, just to kind of what was some of the overriding thinking. And Adam had some good points here. Now he knows everyone's saying 4 to 5 to 4, 4 or 5 plus, but he can't see that happening. Luke Cage certainly got a nice buff, so his point is there's enough arenas now out there, and yes, he's a god tier champ. We have an extra arena now, not like the Stark Spidey, where he went for 4 million even without the extra arena. So I think that's a great point, even most recently with Stark Spidey. And I think that point is showing on the trend that 4 stars are great. People still need, especially newer to the game and progressing rosters, but they're not as important as they were in the past. So maybe just the people going after 4 million, people may now rather go after shards and include 5 stars and 6-star shards than maybe even, of course, they include the 4-star shards in some of these arenas. But really, those 5-star shards are what people are going after, just because a lot of people's rosters have progressed to the point that that's what they're focusing on, and adding another 4-star, albeit a good one like Medusa, may not be the best thing. But anyway, not necessarily a bad thing, a great thing still, but you can see the numbers, his point. And I think with Stark Spider-Man, as great as Medusa is, I would argue, in my opinion, Stark Spider-Man is better. But so with that point, I think Anna brings up some great ones. Now, I found out of a lot of the comments that everybody provided, this one was one of my favorite. AA 4.5, because Medusa, baby. Men want her, girls want to be her. I mean, that's a great comment. Thank you, AA. You definitely get highlighted with such a creative response on why you thought Medusa would go 4.5, because everybody wants her, basically. But anyway, thank you very much, everybody who took the time to vote again. So now with your input, as well as looking at those trends that I was talking about recently, here are my thoughts for first round predictions. When it comes to the 5-star feature Luke Cage, I think we're going to be looking at 24 million for the actual first round cutoff, and this is for the veterans bracket, so meaning your account's been open for 61 days or more. I think for the top 10% shard tier, 10.5 is what we're seeing those numbers come in at. Jumping over to the 4-star feature Luke Cage, I think that cutoff will be at 6 million, with a top 10% cutoff for the shard tier at 4 million. Now, when it comes to Medusa, I think 4 million is going to be the number. It could be 3.8, could be 4.1, but I think 4 million is going to really be that cutoff for Medusa, with 11 to 25% shard tier at 1.52. And lastly, when it comes to the 3-star feature Luke Cage, very consistent results for these old champions since the 5-star feature arena has been introduced. Just a little bit over that milestone reward at 660,000 for that cutoff, with 11 to 25% tier coming in at 425. Now, this is, again, these are the cutoff numbers. This is where I think the cutoff will land within 10% or so. That's kind of the approximation that I try to get with these predictions. So I always like to give kind of a grind target, just in case I under-predicted where the cutoff will be, and you'll still have a chance to get that champ. So if you really want Luke Cage, 5-star, go to 25 million. Really want his 4-star, go to 6.5 million. If you really want Medusa, 4.3, maybe even 4.5. 4.5 for sure, you should feel fine. 4.3, it should be pretty safe, but maybe sweating a little bit right after that cutoff. But then if you really want Luke Cage, 700,000 will be fine. And again, these grind targets, just like the predictions previously, are for the veterans bracket. When it comes to the intermediate and beginners bracket, there's just not a lot of data to base stuff off of. Based off of my recent experience, I mean, it's still a couple months old now, and there's still a lot of volatility in these brackets because you got new players coming in, moving on to all the different brackets over 30 days, that kind of stuff. So it's really hard to get a good grasp. So these are just some rough ranges, though, for the beginners and intermediate bracket, based again off of my personal experience, plus those who do take the time over time to time and give me what their results were. So when it comes to the beginner's bracket, 3-star feature, 245,000 should work. The 4-star basic, I have 1.2 million here. I just even recently heard from this last the last arena someone let me know was like 700,000 would work. So anywhere from 7 to 800,000 to 1.2 million should work for Medusa, with the 4-star feature at 1.2 million. Now jumping down to the intermediate bracket, 3-star feature 550,000, the 4-star basic 1.1 million, and the 4-star feature 1.8 million. Again, these are just very rough ranges. My advice is, if you have time, even after getting past these numbers, go even a little farther. If it's a champ you really do want, like Medusa, maybe even Luke Cage, put in the extra grinding chip. You know, in the worst case scenario, you'll get those extra arena chips, and you know, you can turn those chips into crystals and crystals into gold and more units, and hey, maybe even that elusive Punisher. But anyway, these are my thoughts for the intermediate, beginner, as well as the veterans brackets first round predictions. Would love to hear your thoughts. Any questions, throw them on down in the comment section. Any add-ons, additional input, throw it on down in the comment section. We can definitely talk about it there, especially if you have a difference of opinion. Would love to hear about it. Throw it down there and we can definitely discuss it. Other than that, hopefully if you enjoyed this video, if so, I really appreciate if you click that thumbs up button. And if you like this and other videos I have on the channel, would really appreciate a subscribe. Thanks a lot for stopping by, and have a great day.